Have you ever felt like you're doing everything right? You found the niche, you've taken the courses, you're doing all the things, but something feels off. I remember feeling exactly like that. You know, you're following all the advice that the gurus say to do. You find your niche, you get certified, you build your brand, and you've done it. You've put in the time, the energy, and maybe even spent money on all the right programs. Am I speaking to you right now? But despite checking all the boxes, there's this nagging feeling that something is missing. It's like you're supposed to feel clear. You're supposed to feel like everything should just fall into place. But instead, there's this sense of disconnect. Maybe you're even doubting yourself, wondering if you've picked the wrong niche, if you've gone with the wrong network marketing company, if you've gone the wrong industry, or if you're even really cut out for this. It's kind of like when you bake a cake and you follow the recipe perfectly, measuring everything out, you set the timer, you even check with ChatGPT, and then you take it out of the oven and it's just flat. You're standing there like, did I miss an ingredient? Was there a secret step no one told me about? Well, in today's video, we're going to talk about that missing step because it turns out it's not something external at all. From my perspective, what I found in my journey, it's not about finding the perfect niche or getting the right certification or the right qualifications. It's not about ticking off more boxes. What we're really talking about here is clarity, and how true clarity doesn't come from all of those outside things like we think it does. It comes from inside of us, from alignment with who you truly are and what truly matters to you. So, why are we talking about this? Because, quite frankly, I know how frustrating it can be to feel like you've done everything right, everything that you're supposed to do, and you're still not completely satisfied with where you are, if you're honest. Maybe you feel stuck or disconnected, like something is off. I went through that exact same journey. I kept thinking, maybe if I just send more messages, those spammy canned messages you get from network marketers. Yep, I was one of those people. Or I remember thinking, maybe I need to read another book or watch another training. Maybe there's just something else I'm missing. But even after I tried harder, I still wasn't quite seeing the results that I wanted. It felt hard. It felt like something was off. And that's when I was honest with myself that it was. It wasn't until I shifted my focus inward, being honest with myself, that what I was doing wasn't working or wasn't working as well as I wanted it to. And then taking a step back to understand what didn't feel right and how I wanted it to feel. And that's when everything finally started to click. And that's exactly what I want for you. By the end of this video, you'll not only understand why external things like identifying your niche or doing another ideal client exercise or mapping out a 5-year projection, things like that, you'll understand why those things are just the beginning and why they can't take the place of internal alignment. But also, we'll talk about how to start turning into that deeper inner clarity that leads us to real purposeful success that's genuinely aligned with who we are. And you'll walk away with a new perspective and practical tips to help you feel more aligned, more fulfilled, and more confident on your path. Because, like I said, when I discovered how to do this, everything started clicking, everything changed. But before we dive into that, let me tell you a little story, or actually 2 stories, about my journey. So you'll see what I'm talking about. The first time I got caught up in following someone else's formula was when I was in network marketing. So picture this. It's 7 a.m. and I'm sitting at my desk, or standing here, staring at my computer like it's going to magically tell me what I'm doing wrong. I've got all of these scripts in front of me that my upline has laid out. And I'm thinking, okay, if I just send enough messages, I'll crack the code. I'll do it. I'll be one of them. So I went all in on this. I wrote this long list of people I could message, had it written down on a spreadsheet, and I sent out all of these super canned messages that were totally not me. You know the ones. Hey girl, I think you'd be perfect for this opportunity, even though we haven't talked in 20 years. Or, hey, ex-boyfriend, does your wife happen to be in the market for skincare? I know, cringe, right? Oh, but I did this. And spoiler alert, very few people responded. I was that person we've all seen on social media. And then fast forward to when I started my coaching business about 4 years ago, I told myself, this time will be different. I will not do that. I was determined not to make the same mistakes. There was no more being inauthentic and sending out spammy messages day after day for years that didn't reflect who I was. And I wasn't going to blindly follow someone else's formula again. I was determined. But then at the same time, I was new. And I assumed that the experts, the coaches, must know more than I did, right? Surely I could look to them to help me build my new coaching business. And I mean, who was I to question it? I was new to this. Yes, I knew a lot about psychology, but very little about business. And they had more PDFs, webinars, and exclusive strategies that I could count. So obviously, they knew what was up, right? So I did what I thought I was supposed to do. I did figure out my niche. I did do the ideal client exercises and build a website and all of that, learning all of these new skills. And I was like on autopilot, just following along like, yep, that's the secret. Except it wasn't. In hindsight, I wasn't sending out cringy messages anymore, thank goodness. But I was still following another formula that didn't truly feel aligned with me. I was just doing what they recommended, what they suggested. And I don't know if you've ever felt like that. Like you're doing all the right things, whether it's in network marketing, coaching, the fashion industry, real estate, whatever it is. But somehow you're still missing the mark, or you're not quite where you want to be. And the more I tried to fit into someone else's system, the more it felt like I was chasing my own tail. Can you relate? And here's what I realized. The real problem wasn't that I didn't have the perfect marketing strategy or that I didn't plan every detail perfectly. I had done everything by the book. I had followed all of the advice working with multiple business coaches. I followed their launch templates. I set the goals. I created a vision board. I did regular Facebook Lives, literally all the things I knew to do. And on the outside, I'm sure it looked like I had everything together and I jumped from network marketing to entrepreneurship seamlessly. But on the inside, I felt like I was spinning my wheels. I was still waiting for that moment of clarity, that feeling of this is it, this is me. But it never came. That's when it hit me. No matter how perfectly I followed the steps, showed up on social media, how much I tried to optimize everything, something was still off. And for the first time ever, I was honest with myself that something was me. I wasn't connected to what truly mattered to me on a deeper level as much as I thought I was and as much as I wanted to be. I was so busy focusing on finding the formula and what I was supposed to do that I wasn't even asking myself what felt right for me. And that's when it clicked. The problem wasn't the strategies or the business coaches or anything like that. It was that I hadn't tuned into my own internal alignment. I hadn't built that solid foundation from within myself because I was focusing on the external stuff, the surface level things of 3 steps to build a business or 3 emails to launch a coaching program. I was so focused on those external things of literally checking those boxes of, okay, I've done this right, and now I need to do this, this, and this, that I hadn't been connecting with myself and what really felt in alignment with me. Did it feel in alignment when I was following their launch templates and sending the exact emails that they told me to send? Did it feel in alignment for me when I was doing yet another ideal client exercise? I literally writing down how old my ideal client is, where he or she lives, how many kids they have. Like when I was thinking about that person, did that really feel in alignment with me? When I went to make a post and they tell you to have somebody in mind, think about that person. When I thought about that person, did even doing that feel right? Like whatever it was, everything that I was doing it, I was just doing it for the sake of doing it. Does that make sense? So I was focusing way more on that stuff and not enough on what was happening internally. I had become too reliant on external strategies, thinking they were the solution. And hey, we all do this, right? We think that a mentor or a coach or somebody is going to know better. But let me tell you why that's a problem. Because all of those external things, whether it's following a step by step success plan or doing this exact way to build your real estate business, all of those things are helpful tools, but they're just that. They're tools. And these tools can guide us, no doubt, but they can't define us. They don't give us the deeper clarity that we're actually craving. It's all coming from the head, and there's not enough heart. So it's like trying to put together a puzzle without looking at the picture on the box. Sure, you might make some progress, but it's a lot harder and it won't feel complete because you're missing the bigger picture. You don't see how everything comes together. The one that can only come from inside of us, only from the heart. That's where our vision is. We can check all the boxes, whether it's creating a new offer, drafting another marketing email, or doing all the things you think will grow your business. But if those things aren't aligned with your true self, if they don't connect with what's in alignment to you, at least from what I found, and what truly lights you up, they'll always feel a little off. And here's the kicker. That's why we can still feel unclear even after doing all the right things. I mean, seriously. I had spreadsheets for my spreadsheets. I was checking off every box like a pro. Find your target audience. Check. This is the script to follow. Check. Create the perfect offer. Check. Map out your goals for the next 10 years. You bet. So on paper, I was doing what I do best, and I was basically unstoppable in my action. But on the inside, it was like, why don't I feel like I have it all figured out? Why doesn't it feel effortless? It's like when you're following that recipe exactly and your cake is still flat. That's what it's like. You're standing there like, wait, I did everything right. Where's my 5-layer masterpiece? Something isn't adding up here. And it's hard. It's a hard shift to look within. So let me give you a way to think about this. Imagine your niche, your business plan, all those external strategies that you've heard. Imagine those as tools. Think about all of those tools within your business, your career, your passion project, your side hustle. They're like a hammer and a nail. They're useful, but without a solid foundation to build on, it doesn't matter how perfect your tools are, right? You could have the best hammer in the world, which don't ask me what that is, but if you're building on shaky ground, the whole thing is going to crumble. So, how do you get that foundation? It starts with being radically honest and looking inward. It's about getting real and honest with yourself, first of all, and saying, this feels too hard. This doesn't feel like it's coming as effortless to me as I want it. What am I doing that feels right and lights me up? What am I doing where I'm just blindly following someone else's formula for creating a business, a life? And what am I doing because I feel like I should be doing it? Because somebody told me that this is how you do it. Where is that discrepancy? What are those things? Because it's about creating a business, a life, and a path that's genuinely aligned with who we are. And the mistake that I made is believing that the external strategies can replace that internal alignment, but they can't, and they never will. And the clarity that I was seeking, it wasn't out there, it was in here. It's on you. And that's the missing step that no one's talking about. That internal alignment, the step that leads to real lasting clarity. And once you find it, everything else will start to click into place. You'll feel that your niche feels more natural. Your business plan flows more easily. What you do each and every day, it just makes more sense. Your decisions become more intuitive because they're coming from a place of deep clarity and purpose. And so by us focusing on internal alignment, you're not just building a business or a career, you're building a life that's in harmony with your true self. And that's where real, purposeful success happens. So what does internal alignment look like? Great question. It means building from the inside out, not from the outside in. So instead of asking what niche should I pick or what business plan will get me results, ask yourself, what feels right for me? What kind of work would I do even if no one told me it was the right thing to do or the right way to do it? What would that look like? That's where real clarity starts. So let's get practical because I promised you tips and I know that's where we get real, where we get tangible. So here are 3 steps you can start using today to tune into that deeper inner clarity. Number 1, tune into what lights you up. Pay attention with what you're doing, what excites you, not just what you think you should be doing. What are the things you could talk about for hours without getting bored? What kinds of projects give you energy rather than drain it? What would you do if you knew you couldn't do it wrong? And start doing more of those things, even if they don't fit into the traditional realm. This is where real alignment starts to unfold. Number 2, shift from doing to being. So instead of trying to define your purpose through what you do, start aligning with who you are and who you want to be. And this, oh my gosh, is one of the biggest shifts from my perspective that you can make. It's not about checking more things off of your list or doing more tasks. It's about embracing your true essence and getting to know who that person is. Because when you're fully yourself, that's when everything falls into place. And the third step, release the need to know every step. Because here's the truth. Nobody has a full map laid out in front of them. And that's okay. You don't need to know every step to move forward. The more you trust the process, the more clarity will come from my experience. And this allows you to take aligned action without the stress of trying to perfect everything up front. It's just an easier way of going about it. And so here's the thing. This isn't just theory, what I'm talking about. I've experienced this transformation myself and I've seen it in my clients. When I stopped chasing the right strategies and started tuning into what really lights me up and started trusting my intuition over their formula and letting go of the need to control every step. That is literally when everything changed for me. And it didn't happen overnight. This was years in the making for me. I had to figure this out through literal blood, sweat, and tears and consistently not seeing the results I wanted. And that's why I'm putting this video together for you. Because when I started living in alignment with my true self little by little, the results were undeniable. I went from constantly second guessing my decisions and trying to force things to work to feeling like everything just clicked and flowed. And suddenly I wasn't scrambling for the next solution or the next shiny strategy. Opportunities started popping up really out of nowhere. My work felt effortless and, dare I say, fun. And I've seen it happen, like I said, with my clients too, where they go from feeling overwhelmed, frustrated, and endlessly tweaking their strategies to feeling clear, confident, and actually excited about their path and what they're doing. Even if they aren't exactly where they want to be, they know that they're on their way. And here's the funny part. Before I figured all of this out, before I had this radical, honest moment with myself, or several moments, I used to think that success had to feel like work, that it had to feel hard. And I thought I wasn't doing it right unless I was hustling and grinding every day, waking up earlier, staying up late. But once I started aligning with what truly felt right for me, I realized it doesn't have to be that hard. In fact, it can be fun. And that was like finding out the secret that life isn't a marathon. It's more like a dance. You get to have fun while you do it. Because the truth is, Abraham Hicks said this just this morning in a video I was listening of hers. She said that the outcome can't be satisfying if we have an unsatisfying journey to get there. The way I think of it as the outcome can't be amazing. When we arrive, when we experience the tangible and the real purposeful success that we want, where we physically know we are living our dream, we can't experience that if the journey to get there feels hard. And if it's full of hustle and grind and tears and feeling wrong, feeling like you're doing something wrong, beating yourself up, judging yourself, feeling like you're never enough and what you're doing is never enough, that the outcome is amazing and satisfying if the journey is. So the journey right now in this moment with each new client you help, new customer you help, each new design you create is satisfying. Imagine this. You wake up in the morning, not with dread or stress, but with excitement because you're doing work that literally lights you up. Whether it's making a YouTube video, building a web page, sewing your design, showing a house to somebody, whatever that looks like, you're doing what lights you up. It's not about checking off every box on a to-do list or wondering if you're on the right path, if you're doing it right. Instead, you know you are because you trust yourself and you know that the steps you're taking are aligned with who you really are. It gets to be this way for you. And instead of feeling like you're chasing after success or trying to find the formula, it feels like success is naturally flowing to you and from you. And maybe that means you're no longer forcing yourself to take on projects that don't excite you. Or maybe it means you're attracting clients and customers who value what you bring to the table rather than you bending over backward for people who don't value you. And maybe that means you're making decisions from a place of confidence rather than anxiety. And then guess what? You're not just more productive with all of that. You're actually enjoying the process. You're enjoying what you're doing, when you're doing it, and how you're doing it. And this transformation is 100% possible for you. It's not about becoming someone different or chasing after something that's like out of reach, that's elusive. It's about reconnecting with who you already are and letting that guide everything you do. When you align with your true self, the external strategies, whether it's in your business, your relationships, or even your personal life, all of that, they become extensions of who you are, not something you have to force. So you're doing as a byproduct of your being. So imagine the relief of not needing to figure it all out or have everything mapped out perfectly. You just feel more aligned, more fulfilled, and more confident because you know that the steps you're taking are leading you toward your version of success. One that feels right and not forced. One where you get to make that incredible impact and build wealth at the same time, whatever it looks like. So thank you so much for watching. And I really hope this video, if this resonated with you, or if you're feeling like you're ready to approach things from a new angle, I am so glad you're here. And I'm so thankful that through my trials and tribulations and feeling like a failure and all the things when I was in this season, I'm so thankful that I get to share that with you. So to wrap things up, today was all about helping you understand that true clarity doesn't come from doing more. It doesn't come from checking more boxes or trying to fit into someone else's formula perfectly. It comes from aligning with who you are at your core, from tuning in to what lights you up, trusting your intuition, and letting go of the need to have it all figured out in advance. This is so, so important. Because when you stop chasing external answers and start trusting that inner clarity that is already within you, everything changes. The overwhelm fades, the pressure lifts, and you finally start creating success that feels authentic, fulfilling, and sustainable. You're walking away from this video with a new perspective. The realization that external strategies are just the tools that they are, but the real power comes from within you. And that's what is so important to tap into. You now have 3 powerful steps to start tuning into that deeper clarity by following what lights you up, shifting from focusing on your doing to who you're being, and release the need to know every step of the journey. Now, here's my question for you. What's one thing that lights you up that you would love to do more of? Drop it in the comments. Drop it in the review section because I would absolutely love to hear what excites you. And let's start a conversation about how we can build from there. What these steps actually look like in your life. And before you go, make sure to check out my video on how to stop caring what people think because it is perfect if you're ready to free yourself from outside opinions and take even more aligned action. Remember, your vision is your compass. Stay certain, stay aligned, and stay true to yourself. I'll see you in the next video.